I had one of my clients, she sent me some photographs that she did on an app, and AI created the photographs for her. And I was like, wow. I said, they sort of look like you, but not really. But they're beautiful. I mean, the app did a great job. I mean, but, and I think we've got to educate people to understand that, the AI can't right now, it may get more intelligent, but right now it can't capture that emotion that happens, that connection that happens between you and your client, right?
This episode is brought to you by me. Yes, by me, Victoria Odekomaya. I'm a brand photographer and strategist based locally here in Indiana. And I love helping women, small business owners, and professionals with side hustles build and elevate their brand. So if you're in the market and looking for someone that would thoroughly help you create a beautiful imagery for your brand and help you connect with your target audience, I'm your girl. So why choose me? Because I offer a beautiful, luxurious celebrity photo shoot experience for all of my clients. The celebrity experience includes professional hair and makeup, wardrobe styling. I serve wine and chocolate covered strawberries, and I'm playing your favorite music because it's important to me that you look and feel great to create the images that we know will truly connect with your audience. So what are you waiting for? If you're looking for photography to help you elevate your brand, call on your girl because I got you. Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Own Your Brand Show. I'm your girl, Victoria, and today I'm talking with my dear friend, Tracy Croushorn. She's a fellow photographer, a brand photographer based out of Florida. And, it's funny because Tracy and I have been friends for at least 2 years now, but we have never, ever met in person. So, but we talk all the time, like literally talk all the time. And so today we're just catching up on what it means to be a photographer. We discuss our journey on becoming a photographer, as well as some of the things that go into creating that beautiful experience that we love to give you, that you've come to love and known us for, which sets us apart from other photographer. And I love this conversation because it was really like, just chatting with my friend, like we do, but also exploring, everything that makes us different and all the things that a photographer goes through and put together to bring about the beautiful image, the beautiful packages, and everything else that we bring to set your brand apart. So without much ado, enjoy this episode. So hi, Tracy. How are you doing today?
Good, Victoria. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I feel very honored to be here.
Oh, I am honored to have you here. You know what? I was thinking about, when we were getting ready for this episode, I was thinking about how our friendship has evolved, how we met, which we have to talk about on this episode. But before we get started, please tell everyone who you are and what you do, and then we can get started.
My name is Tracy Croushorn. I am the owner and photographer of TLC Studios, Tracy Lynn and Company. That's where the TLC comes from. And I am a brand headshot event photographer. So
another photographer in the house, y'all. This is amazing. I love talking to you as a person because you're my friend, but also as a photographer because we catch up about that all the time. Anyway.
So, we do. And I do love, and sorry if I'm stealing your thunder here, but I do love the way we met. And I want to tell everybody that we have never met in person, which is so crazy.
I know. We've tried a couple of times to maybe travel back and forth, but it hasn't happened yet. But yes, tell us, how did we meet? Tell everyone how we met.
So I love this story. I was just telling it the other day, actually. So we took a class together there's another big photographer that offered a class, and you and I both were in the class, and we had to find an accountability partner. And I was actually going through looking at everybody, and I was like, oh, she looks fun. I'm going to reach out to her and see if she would be my accountability partner. And as luck would have it, actually fate, when I called you or reached out to you, and we got on the phone, you were like, I had just come across your picture and thought the same thing.
Yes.
So I knew we were meant to be accountability partners and friends. And yes, our friendship has evolved greatly over the last, it's been what, 2 years now?
2 years. I was getting ready to say that it's been 2 years now. And it's funny how, yes, we haven't met in person, but I think we practically talk almost every week.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
and for a while it was every day.
Right. Yes. Oh my goodness. It's just amazing how, things can happen. Like, I feel like you are really my sister. Like anytime, oh, by the way, we didn't mention, but you're based in Florida. And anytime I, make it to Florida, I'm going to be coming your way. I know I already have a room in your house anyway. So
absolutely. It's waiting for you.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Same here too. Likewise. So I want, so tell us a little bit about, I know, TLC, which I love the name, by the way. You do an amazing photography work. We talk about this all the time, but when did you realize you wanted to go into photography?
So another very interesting story, and I'll make it short, but when I met my husband, we were in Atlanta, and I was working, my background is in administration. So I worked for a telecom company for 8 years, and then they kind of dissipated, and I went into construction, and I was working for a guy who was one of the founders of Home Depot, and he had sold some of his stock. He left Home Depot and started his own company, and I worked for him for 2 years. And in that 2 years, I met my husband. His job moved us here to Florida. That's how we got to Florida 20, oh gosh, we've been here 21 years. Can you believe that? That's crazy.
A long time.
So 21 years ago, his job moved us here. And then we, did you leave, Victoria? What happened?
No, I'm here. I'm still here.
Okay.
I just made you a bigger screen. I just made your screen bigger.
Okay. I just couldn't see you. So anyway, we moved here, and he's like, well, what are you going to do when you grow up? And so I decided to go back to school to get my BFA, and I wanted to be a graphic designer. And I got through school. I started my own business. I with a couple of clients, and I was miserable, like completely miserable.
Wow.
And so I was like, and I had taken a couple of photography classes. And funny enough, when I was in high school, my mom had gotten me my first camera. And we had a friend in Atlanta who was a big, huge, like famous wedding photographer. And, I had always envied his work and thought it would be so much fun to be a wedding photographer. No. But anyway, so I decided to go back to school for a year, get my photography degree, and then, funny as life would have it, I got pregnant right at the end as I was ready to graduate. So my husband's like, great, what are we going to do now? And he's like, well, congratulations, you started your own photography business. So I'm like, perfect. So, but that being said, I have done every genre of photography, and clearly I started out with babies, which I quickly found I did not love. I loved my baby, but I didn't start photographing him until he got a little older. And then I thought, oh, the kids would be fun, families would be fun. I did that for a while around Christmas. That is miserable. But I did that for years. And then went into weddings because I thought that would be fun. Nope. And, long story short, I mean, I did maternity. I've done events. I've done events my whole career. And then funny enough, I took a break. I had a 5-year break. I decided to try something new and build a different business. And in that, I started getting calls for headshots, like all the time, which I thought was so weird. But I was like, okay. So I, continued on. If anybody had reached out, I would do it. I wasn't promoting my photography business. But then in 2020, when the world shut down, I took a step back and I thought, okay, um, it was weird because in that space, that summer, an opportunity had arise, whatever. And I was able, I was asked if I wanted to open my studio, and I was like, whoa. I had a client who had a headshot. I did it here at the house in the garage. And, that April was hot and she was almost melting. And so
in Florida, of course.
Yeah. It has been the hottest summer. It has been so crazy. Like, the heat index is insane. It's never been this hot over the summer. Like, it's been crazy. But anyway, so at that point, I was able to open my studio. And so I had to take like a big step back and say, okay, what do I really want? And my heart was telling me, I always loved photography. And so this kind of fell in my lap. Like, this is God trying to say, you need to come back. So my break from photography was over. Which, to be honest with you, it was fantastic. And the last 3 years have been such a huge blessing. I love my studio and my space, and I'm not there today, but I'm in my home office today. But, it is just such a dream of mine that I've had for so long. And it finally came to fruition, which was so exciting. And so I started back with just headshots, and then branding kind of just followed. And one of the most exciting things was that this year I started my coaching certification. So now I am a brand coach. And actually, that certification will be done in September. But for the most part, we're almost through it. Right. So yes, I am now going to be a brand coach. So I will be able to help brands even more, dive in even deeper so that we can really get the images that they need to tell their story.
That is amazing. I'm so okay. You mentioned a lot of things I kind of want to unpack there.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know if a lot of people know this, because sometimes I get some calls too. Do you do this? Do you do this type of photography? There are so many genres of photographies, right? So usually some people can do multiple, but some people just kind of stick to just a few of them, and they are very different. They can be very different, like wedding photography or event, and even branding can be very different, and not to say that there's some people that are not all good in some of them, multiple of them, but I know my lane and I stay in my lane. And, you do the same thing too. You've gone through all the niches, and then you figured out which one you really want to do. So that's amazing. And
yeah, it's interesting. We were just having this conversation. I actually met another photographer, and she came to the studio and she was like, oh my gosh, I love your. And it was funny because we were talking about that. And, they always say, like, you can't be good at everything. And it is so different to shoot. Okay, I shouldn't say shoot. Photograph babies. We don't want to shoot babies.
We don't want to shoot babies. That's funny.
So it is so different to photograph babies. It's so different to photograph pregnant women. It's so different to shoot an event, because you have to really know lighting to shoot an event, because the light changes every single second, and it changes from here to here. The light's different.
Right.
So you've got to know light and be able to be, almost automatic with it, because otherwise you're never going to get the shots.
Exactly.
And then
especially also if you're not in control of the lighting, like, if it's an event that was lit and, you're coming in as a photographer, maybe you haven't been talking to, the event planners and things like that, or the people in charge of all the AV and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, events are tough because some of them are outside, which you can't control the light. Some of them are inside, which you can control the light to a certain degree, but it depends on the event too. Like, I was at an event last year and they were like, absolutely no light in, additional light. Like, you're just going to have to deal with it.
Right.
So, sometimes you just don't have control, and some places are just so badly lit that, you've got to make sure you have the equipment too, because that matters as well. Like your lenses, your camera, it's got to be able to do the job. So, and I think a lot of people who just pick up photography and think, oh, I could watch a few YouTube videos and figure this out, it's not that easy. I mean, yeah, if you're going to shoot kids outside at the beach, sure. Can you become really good at it? Absolutely. And maybe that's your lane and you should stick with it. But that's something, she and I talked about, and I was like, you have to pick a lane because you can't be great at everything.
Right. It takes a lot of years of practice and practice and practice. And when you were talking about the lighting situation, I think that's also one of the things that demarcates, maybe that's not the word I'm looking for, but like set apart the really good photographers, because in different situations, being able to still shine because your work, you have the skills, sets you apart.
Well, and knowing your equipment is huge.
Yes.
And for example, so, when I took that 5 years off, a lot has changed, right? Equipment has gone from, here to here.
Right.
And there was so much change that I realized that if I was going to compete in the marketplace, I was going to have to upgrade all my equipment, which is a huge expense. Huge.
It is.
Because we're talking cameras, lighting, we're talking lenses, there's so much to it. And so it was a huge expense. And so I really had to dive in and think, okay, what is it that I want to be doing? What is it that I want to get into? And what equipment is going to be best for that? And that's the other thing. Like, your equipment isn't equipped to do all things.
Yes.
You have to know your equipment and which situation you're going to be in order to know what's going to be best for that client or for that job or whatever. So
that's why I was kind of saying a little bit about the skills, right?
Yeah.
Because that's, again, anybody can pick up a camera or even a lens or whatever it is, but or even watch YouTube channel to learn, to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, it's the application, it's the person applying all the skills to know exactly how to, even if you didn't have the right equipment, knowing the equipment well enough to know the limitation, and then maybe even, pushing it beyond boundaries to get a different look or do something different, so that comes with the skills.
Yeah. It's interesting because, it's not like, our jobs change so much all the time because of technology.
Yeah.
And, there's a constant education. We have to constantly do education to keep up.
Right.
And sometimes it just goes way so fast.
In this day and age of AI too, things are just changing so rapidly. But wow, that's interesting. So in that 5 years, I know you had a lot of time to you took a break and all that. Do you want to go into some of the things that you were doing? I know you were also kind of you still thinking about photography in that 5 years. Right? It wasn't like you just completely shut it down.
It wasn't like I completely shut it down. I mean, like I said, I was doing headshots, a lot of headshots. The company, that I had gone with that. So it was a direct sales company. It's an online skincare company called Rodan & Fields. And so I had built that in that 5 years, which honestly, I've been doing it for 10 years, which it'll be 10 years this year that I've done that. And it's a great little side gig. It became full time for a while because we had grown so fast, and I just couldn't keep up with both. So, and that actually was head and shoulders above what I was doing with my photography. So, but the year that we met in that class was when my mindset changed about photography, because I was one of those shoot and burn photographers, because I was only doing it part-time. I was home with my kids, and they were the priority. But I had just gotten my photography degree, as I got pregnant. So it was a great side gig to bring in some extra money, but it afforded me to be able to be home with my kids. But the problem is I didn't have a studio. I was at the mercy of everybody else. And, I had to lug my crap everywhere,
Yep.
So it was tough, and it was exhausting with 2 little children who were 15 months apart.
Oh, yes.
And so when this other company kind of fell in my lap, and I thought, okay, I can run this from my phone. I don't have to go anywhere. I can be with my kids and work it in within the nooks and crannies of everything else that I'm doing. This seems like a perfect fit. So that took over. And like I said, I took a little bit of time. I focused, let's just say I put all of my focus into that for 5 years. Right. And then when the world shut down, I was like, okay,
what is
going on here? And I think that's what everybody did, right? I mean, it's the, oh my God, what is happening? This has never happened before. What does this look like? What really matters in life, right?
Yeah.
You take a look and say, what really matters? And what I know is that people matter.
Yes.
And that is really where I was like, okay, what I'm doing with the skincare, I love, and it does matter, because I know for myself, after using it for a short time, that I gained my confidence, I gained my self-esteem, and I was like, okay, this is great. So that's what I do for people over there, because this is the only real estate we got, right? We've got one. So we want to take care of it. We want to look good. Nobody wants to look old, especially, on camera, because we're on camera a whole lot more than we used to be, right?
Yes.
And now everybody's on camera, and not just camera people, or not just, anchors or whatever. With social media being the way it is, I mean, everybody's on camera. So you want to look good. You want to feel good. If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you do good, right?
Yes.
So I can help there. And then once people found their confidence and their self-esteem, then we flip over, right? And now we're in front of the camera.
Yes.
And our camera is a little bit different than this camera. So we can actually help people forgive just a little bit more than this camera.
Right. I was going to say that too, because you're helping to build confidence on both sides. Because, we've talked a little bit about this too. The confidence, one of the things that I love about the type of work that I do, which I know this is the type of work you do because we include, that celebrity experience into it, is helping people build that confidence so that we can capture their authentic self. Right. And so, but you're also taking it to a whole new level by helping them with the skincare. Because obviously the camera, there's a lot of tricks of the trade that we can do to make people, Photoshop and angles and lighting and all of that, right? Absolutely. But you're also using your knowledge from Rodan and Fields, right? That's how you pronounce it.
Rodan and Fields, yep.
Yes. To, help, the actual person, beyond what you could do on, with retouching and things like that. And maybe some of your clients would even, cross over to photography.
They do. It's definitely a crisscross. Each of my clients get a goodie bag when they come and photograph with me. And of course, it's all of our sample products. And so I load them up and, give them. And some clients don't become Rodan & Field clients, and that's okay. But some of them do, and they love the products. And I mean, clearly I love them. I turned 50 this year. So
it's a 50.
Yeah.
You look 25.
I love you.
Love you too.
Oh, yeah. So, and that kind of brings me to what I've been doing this year. So in honor of my 50th birthday, I decided that I wanted to photograph 50 women, ladies in leadership, who help and do things in their community. So we started a campaign in January, and it's called Ladies in Leadership. And we have been photographing some amazing women. We just finished one last Friday. I'm so excited we get to reveal her photos on Sunday. This is a little bit different for me because she's hosting the party at her house. She wanted to.
Oh, no.
Normally I host, we do like a little party, and I was telling her that. We host like a reveal party at the studio because I have a big screen TV on the wall in our foyer area, and we have couches, and it's just kind of a fun living room atmosphere. And so we pop the TV, or we pop all the photos up on the TV, and we all sit down and we have champagne and we toast to the day and how much fun she had. And, we talk about what that feels like. Because we don't just sell photographs, right? We sell an experience. And the experience starts when they first meet you, and then the experience ends, after we deliver our photos. So it's an entire experience. And so she decided, she was like, can we just do it at my house? I was like, sure, that's fine. But my whole team comes. So we have a stylist, we have a makeup artist, and then we have an assistant. And so all of us get together. And like I said, we do just a little, nibble for them, and we play music, and we have the disco light going on. And
you do that. I don't have the disco light. I have all of the things that you've been mentioning so far, but I don't have this. So I'll consider that. That sounds fun.
Yeah. So we have, it's called a block rocker. It's so fun. You should do it. I call it a party in a box, and It has wheels, and it goes with me everywhere. And so it's got the little handle like your luggage, and it's a big speaker, and it's Bluetooth, so you can hook it up to your phone. But at the top of it, it's got like a disco ball. And
wow.
Oh yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun.
Do you use that for the photo shoot, or do you use that for the reveal?
I use that for the reveal.
Okay.
You just gave me an idea. Maybe I should.
I know. I was like, we're like giving each other ideas here. I'm like, wow, this is fun. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's a lot of fun. So we're gonna reveal her photos on Sunday. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
That's really exciting. And maybe she can, invite some of our friends over, pop and champagne and things like that. Because it's just, like you said, it's really about the experience. And like for me, those are the two things, the experience and the use of the photos. For me, I want to make sure, because a lot of the women, we both photograph women mostly. Obviously, we do headshots for men as well. But for women, we tend to wear multiple hats, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we just go. And I want my space to be that place where they can relax, they can come and feel rejuvenated. That's why I include a whole team. And, plus I don't know how to do hair or, makeup to save myself anyway. So, just like, yeah, I know. Just like, just tending and giving them that tender loving care, TLC, like your name, like your name of the company, just helping them look and feel beautiful. And then for me, I also add like a session afterwards. Part of the review, what I do is include, talking about strategy, and I'm sure you're going to, I know it's one of the things that you're including as soon as you finish your branding, your course, just talking about how they're going to be, using the photos, because it's really in the ROI matters to the client too.
So I actually do that on the front end. Okay. So when we do our strategy session, we actually talk about where and what they're going to use the photos for. And this is where I kind of interject and help them and think about, hey, maybe if you're going to use them for social media, you need to think about this, this, and this. You need to think about the time of year. So that's going to dictate your clothing. And then, so I do that strategy on the front end. And it just helps prepare. Plus I give my stylist, if they choose to have her, which is in our biggest package, our stylist gets on that call with us. And so she's taking notes so that she knows when she goes to the client's house to do their closet or go shopping or whatever the case may be, she is, she's got all those things already. She's got all those things in her head and already taken notes about, okay, well, here's the first look, here's the second look, here's what we're going to do. That's where that's going to go. This is why we're going to do this outfit, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, we do that on the front end. And then we also talk about locations. So this last client, we did 3 locations. We did the studio, we did a lab that she, partners with, and, in her industry, she's kind of in the dental industry. So, we took her to one of her dental labs and did some photographs there. And then we also took her, some of the places she does business is a resort that she lives by. So, she put on her golf outfit, and then we took her in some of the other spots. And so, because it's all social media, it's all her website, people want to get to know her, like her, trust her, right? That's what it's all about. Know, like, and trust.
Yes.
And so, yeah, so we do that on the front end.
So that's interesting. So I also do exactly what you said, on the front end, to like just planning and everything, talking about what the hair's going to look like, the types of photos. Yeah. But then on the back end, I think for me, what I do is just, it's like the before and after. So this is what we said we wanted to do. This is what we have, and this is how you can use it.
Yes. No, that's perfect.
Just like sometimes putting together some design elements into, throwing it in Canva and just putting like, okay, remember we said you could use this way. See how it's looking now. So, just giving them ideas of, oh, wow, now I see the vision, just putting everything together. But one thing you said that I kind of want to go back to is that you shoot inside and outside. I don't. Typically, all my shoots are indoors. So, but you are able to, so most of your shoots is really all day, not even a 4-hour experience, because that's what I do.
Yeah. So we kind of say it's a 4-hour experience.
That's a whole day, because drive around too.
Oh yeah. We started that morning at 9:00 and we ended at 7.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and we had a little break in between, but not much, because we had to tell the lab what time we were going to be there. And that was a little flexible. I mean, thankfully they were a little flexible in that. And then where we went to the other place, they weren't on a timetable. So when we got there, it was fine. But they had a fitting room for us. They had a place where we could touch up our hair and makeup, and it was fabulous. I mean, we had it was such a great experience for all of us. But yeah, so we do several locations. That's included in our biggest package. So again, that's important to talk about at the beginning, because we've got to know the clothes. We've got to know what, the timetable. We've got to make sure we're staying in our timetable. I've got to take into account the lighting, because the lighting is very different outdoors, and I can't control it I can control it indoors, but I can't control it outdoors.
Right.
So, when we got pushed back an hour that day, thankfully it wasn't a big deal, because we were well under when the sun was going to go down. But yeah, see, these are all things you have to account for. And so, but I love shooting in natural light. It's one of my favorite things. So I love the studio too, but I love the natural light.
So when I come to Florida, you're going to be showing me how to master natural light, because I could do it, but I don't feel most confident doing it. So I'm going to be taking some classes from you. So real quickly,
yes,
when your clients come to you, what are some of the things that they often ask you? What are some of their biggest problems, and what are some of the solutions you can offer to that?
I think their biggest problem is knowing how to use the photos, right? I really do. I think people come, they're like, okay, I'm going to spend, quite a bit of money to, and it's an experience, right? And we're doing coaching on the front end and the back end. So it's not just a photo shoot. And that's how we have to educate our clients. Like, yes, it's more than a normal, like whatever your local photographer takes you out and does these little snapshots for you. And I'm not trying to demean any other photographer. I'm just saying there's just a clear difference between what we do versus what other people do.
Right.
And they, we have to get them to understand, but I think that's the biggest thing. Like, content is really huge right now, right? It's a big buzzword in our industry because everybody wants to shoot for content.
Right.
But what does that mean? Right? And I ask my clients that, like, what does content mean to you? Does it just mean photographs you're going to slap up on social media? And for what? How are you using them?
I love that.
Right?
Yes. I love to have this conversation too, because you have to have a strategy for you, for your brand, for your business. It's not about doing the most popular thing right now. And everybody starts talking about how the algorithm is not working for them. No, you don't need the algorithm if you have a plan for yourself.
Correct.
The algorithm would work with you if, you don't have to chase the algorithm. So I really love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting time that we live in, right? Because AI, like I had one of my clients, she sent me some photographs that she did on an app, and AI created the photographs for her. And I was like, wow. I said, they sort of look like you, but not really. But they're beautiful. I mean, the app did a great job. I mean, and I think we've got to educate people to understand that, the AI can't right now, it may get more intelligent, but right now it can't capture that emotion that happens, that connection that happens between you and your client, right?
Yes.
We always talk about Zoom is great, but to have an in-person is so different because of the connection.
Yes.
And you and I are a great example of a great connection over Zoom, over phone. We've created that connection. I can only imagine once we meet, and I'm able to hug your neck, what that connection, what our friendship, what level that friendship's going to go to, right?
Right.
So, and that's what AI misses. They don't have the connection. They don't have that human interaction. And there's nothing that's ever going to be able to replace that.
Right.
So, and cameras be able to capture that, or AI, an app is not going to be able to capture that specific emotion that happens when I'm standing behind the camera and we're talking and I make you laugh and I get that split second where you're just in pure joy. That's what AI is not going to be able to do. And that's why we are always going to be able to have a job.
Yeah. And the other thing, I agree completely with what you just said. The other thing, I've seen it work, the way they put it together with AI, and you actually have to give AI a lot of really good photos of yourself for it to come up with something maybe better, in terms of like the look of the photo.
Yeah.
So if you don't have really good photos to start off with,
Correct.
then you might not get, photos that, comes out. So, because I didn't realize how it worked until I saw it, being used, and I was like, so you still need to give it good photos, otherwise.
Absolutely. Well, I was curious, so I went on the app myself and I created photos. Right? And I was like, but here's the thing that's missing.
Yes.
And it's missing that connection. It's missing that human interaction. And, the connection that you build with your client. Because, you and I build that connection long before they even step in front of the camera. So by the time they get in front of the camera, we're already friends. I already know a lot about you.
Yes.
I know about you. I know about your business. I know about your brand. I know what we're doing. Like those are the things, like, before you even step in front of the camera, that you and I, do. And that's one of the parts that I really love.
Yes, me too. Me too. And that's irreplaceable. I don't know. Yeah, I don't care, but I don't think that AI could ever replace that interaction. Because at the end of the day, your brand, the whole notion of branding is about showing your authentic self to connect to your true clients. So even if you get beautiful photos out of AI and there's no connection,
right,
kind of defeats the purpose,
It does, because people see through that.
Yes.
People see right through that. Authenticity is the biggest thing in marketing. You have to be authentic. You have to be your authentic self. And you have to know somebody, AKA Victoria or myself, who can pull that out of you and relay that on film.
Right. Absolutely. Wow. This is very nice. So I know that time is, coming to a close here, but I want to talk a little bit about your studio, which I cannot wait to tour because it's such a beautiful space. We did a couple of calls, virtually, when you were decorating and things like that. So tell me, what are some of the things you love the most about your studio?
Let's see. Most people, when they walk in, say it's so inviting. Like they feel a calm presence. They just feel like it's just an inviting space. And I try really hard to make it that way. When you walk in, to the right is our TV and our, like I call it, our living room. I have a pink couch in there, and I have a beautiful, like, furry gray carpet that's sparkly, has sparkles in it. I'm all about the bling, girl. I love it. Yes. So, but it's not like over the top. It's just, when you look at it, you're like, oh, it's so pretty. And so, the couch is comfortable. People sit and relax. Smell for me is huge. So I have one of those, I forget what you call them, but there's one of those things in my studio that displays one of the hotel scents. So when you walk in, it just smells like a beautiful hotel.
Nice.
So, and now I'm giving away my secret. So, because when people walk in, they're like, oh, it smells so good in here. I'm like, yes, it smells like whatever hotel.
That's part of the experience.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. It's so important, at least for me. So, yeah. And then we have a very fun makeup station where you get your hair and makeup done. And then our studio space where we shoot isn't, over the top. It's got all of our backdrops, and I've got a huge white wall. We've got a big window back there. We do a lot with natural light. And I do have a dressing room for them where they lay out all their stuff. They can hang up all their clothes. My stylist steams everything before everybody goes out. So, yeah.
That's a VIP experience right there.
Oh, yeah, girl. Yeah. Head to toe.
The one thing I love the most about your the wall that has the black and gold wall design that you did. I think I'm not sure if it's a
it's actually silver, but
is it silver?
Yeah, it's silver. It's actually wallpaper.
I
in
love
there.
that space. That is my favorite
I
space
love
in
it
the
too, but
studio.
unfortunately, like just because of the sheen of the wallpaper, it doesn't photograph well, which I hate. I get so mad because I try to photograph it in multiple different ways and it never turns out well.
Oh no. But anyway, I love that space. Okay, so I want to bring it back to your ladies in leadership. I know that, it's a big thing that you're doing this year. You're celebrating 50, you want to photograph 50 women, and then you have this huge event coming up. Tell us about that.
I am so very excited about this event. We were going to do it in December, and I got a phone call one day. I work for or work with a magazine called She Exists, and it's a women empowerment magazine. She started it 2 years ago, and it has just taken off. And it is so amazing. And I have gotten to shoot several of the covers. And
gone to New York to promote it as well. And you've been on the billboard in New York.
Yes.
Just wanted to slide that in.
Yes. Actually, I was so blessed. It's been such a great experience for me. And Janelle Harris, who is the founder and CEO, she's amazing. And this woman just has an incredible vision. And I'm just so grateful and so blessed to be on the coattails of that. And so she has offered me, the incredible opportunity to photograph some of these covers. And it's just been so much fun. This was also a dream of mine. I always wanted to work for a magazine. I always wanted to have, my photos grace the covers. And it's just been so fun for me. And so she and I were talking one day, and we were talking about the gala. And she goes, she's like, I would love to partner with you. And so that's where the conversation went. So long story short, we moved the gala to next year. We have since partnered with a big fashion designer in New York. His name is Ron Dice. And he is going to do a unveiling of his 2024 collection at the Ladies in Leadership Gala. So yes, we're so excited. So the gala has changed dramatically because we're, putting in all these things, and the fashion show is going to be the grand finale, which we're so excited about. But we're now, going to have a VIP section for all of our ladies. So, if you're in Florida, or even if you're not, and you want to come and be a part of Ladies in Leadership and have your photos done and be a part, because we're going to celebrate all the women, and we'll have photographs all in and around the event space. And, it's going to be a really cool night that no one's ever going to forget.
I know. I definitely need to be there, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Yeah, if you're in the Florida area or even other states, like I can say that you make beautiful images, and you want Tracy or I to take your photos. So make sure you reach out to us. But yeah, I mean, I just, one of the other thing I wanted to mention when you were talking about that is, I think you had other opportunities as well to photograph like the runway. So it seems like all your dreams and the things that you wanted to do is like coming together, and the gala, the magazine, the fashion show, and everything is just coming together so nicely.
Yes. So Fashion Week has always been on my bucket list. And so last September, I was it September or February?
I just knew you were traveling all around the world.
I don't remember, because there's two, right? There's two fashion shows in New York. So New York Fashion Week is huge in September, but I know they do another one in I think it was last September. Gosh, the year has gone so fast. We're almost up on it again.
You don't even remember what you're bawling like Tracy, like I can't remember what I ate last night.
So Fashion Week was super fun. I loved it. I loved the smaller shows. The big shows are honestly not my jam. So I figured that out pretty quick, because there's a small little space, and there's 500 photographers.
Oh, wow.
And you're literally standing like this, and like you can't move.
Wow.
So unless you get there that morning and the show's not till 9:00 at night and you stand there all day, you're not getting any good footage. So I happened to sneak my way in to the corner of the stage. I slithered right in, but I'll tell you, it was a tight squeeze, and there were not so happy photographers standing next to me. So I was like, sorry.
Oh my goodness. So as you were talking, I'm thinking I'm going to be photographing a fashion show event as well. It's going to be my very first, and it's, definitely not New York Fashion Week, but it's still really important to me because, so the organization that I'm supporting this year, Pink Ribbon Connection.
Oh, I love that.
They help anyone that has been impacted or touched by breast cancer. So they a nonprofit organization here. And so every year in October, they do a huge fashion show where all the people that have gone through, had like breast cancer or something, they walk the runway. So I get to photograph them this year. So I am like so excited to do that. It just, it's just a way of giving back. My goal is to help raise $10,000. So we have a lot of plans for that. But just being able to photograph and be a part of that photo shoot, the fashion show for me is huge.
Yes. And I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, because I want to say that Ladies in Leadership is also partnered with an organization called Equip Her. And it's an organization for high school girls. And we all know that high school girls right now need a lot of help. And so that organization just equips them for everyday life and equips them for their future. I happen to be a mentor, and I love the organization. So we decided to partner together. So I am also in hopes that we raise money for them. So there'll be an auction and stuff at the gala for them, but a portion of the photo shoot from the monies from the photo shoot does go to them. So each one for the Ladies in Leadership, each woman does donate money. Part of the money that they with their package does go to Equip Her. So
that's amazing. Wow. It's so just so lovely talking to you. Like, even though I talk to you almost every day, I feel like I still learned something new today about you, and we're just so much in alignment, with the things that we do. That we have similar passions, helping nonprofit organizations to thrive, and the women in our lives that our clients to just build their brand and do exploits, So that's one of the things I really enjoy talking to you about.
I adore you, and I am so excited and honored and grateful that you asked me to be a part of this. So.
Oh, I mean, did I have a choice?
Of course you have a choice.
Girl, it's you. There's no way I would do this and you not being there. I'm just so glad that your calendar, you were available, because I know you're very busy. You have a full schedule, you're photographing, you're like hotcake in Florida. So if you guys are really looking to photograph, make sure, especially if you want to be a part of these Ladies in Leadership, get on Tracy's schedule as soon as possible, because we've had to cancel this at least once, if not twice. So I know she's very busy. I know you're very, very busy. So, and I just cannot wait to be a part of that gala.
I'm so glad you're going to come. I was hoping.
Yes.
We just hadn't talked about it since I changed the date. So
I know. We'll be talking a lot about some other activities that we want to do together, some conferences and other things next year. So yeah, we'll make it happen.
Very good. Well, I'm so excited. Thank you so much. I love you.
Love you too, girl. Thank you. So yeah, that's it for today's episode. Make sure you tune in for next week, but also subscribe. I'm going to put all of Tracy's information in the comments below so you can reach out to her, especially if you're interested in being a part of the Ladies in Leadership. I would be a part of it if I wasn't a photographer already, but maybe when I go to Florida, she's going to be photographing me anyway, because sometimes it's hard to photograph yourself as a photographer.
It is.
Especially, I know also that your calendar gets booked very fast. So if this is something that you're interested in, make sure you reach out to Tracy and just check out, all of this organization she's a part of. I know that you will be blessed doing that. But until next time, stay great.